Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. So today we're taking a look at two new cases from Caudabe. These cases are part of their new Elemental line, which is a series of nature-inspired colorways. And the cool thing is, a portion of every purchase is going to be given back to nonprofits working to save our planet. So pretty cool. So we're gonna do a little bit of an unboxing here, and then we're going to take an up-close look at each of these cases and talk a little bit more about them. So let's get into it. All right, so first up, we're gonna look at the Caudabe Sheath. So as I unbox this, this is obviously the Eucalyptus colorway, as you can see there, part of the Elemental collection. The sheath for iPhone 15 Pro Max. We'll take the lid off. You get a nice kind of green eucalyptus colored paper on top. Then you open up the case. Relax, you're covered. We proudly stand behind our products. Should you ever have an issue, please reach out. We'll be there to help. So you get a little bit of support copy on the inside cover there. Here's the case. Take that out, set it to the side, and you get a nice little card here that's introducing the Elemental collection. So I'll pull that out. Caudabe logo. Oh, turn that over, and I'll hold that up so if you want to pause and read through that, you can read more about the Elemental collection. So pretty nice packaging here from Caudabe. Again, one thing I'll share right off the bat is Caudabe is probably my #1 most recommended phone case. You know, if I'm buying a new phone, my first case that I'm going to put on that phone is going to be a Caudabe Sheath or a Caudabe Synthesis, which we're actually unboxing right here. Very similar packaging. Take out the Synthesis. We'll talk about the differences on each of these cases here in just a minute. And you get this a similar card on the inside talking about the Elemental product line. So here's the deal about Caudabe cases. They are very sleek. They're very minimal. They are also just very high quality. And so if I turn over the back here, you get a really nice soft microfiber lining on the inside of the case. The difference is, so the Caudabe Sheath is the thinner of the two cases. It's made out of what they call their Shocklight polymer. It's a proprietary polymer that Caudabe uses for these cases. And the cool thing is that this case has been drop tested, including by myself. I've actually dropped my phone many times in the sheath up to 6.6 feet. And that's, you know, that's above my head. So how often are you going to be dropping a phone from above your head? And so I've dropped my phone in this case. It has made it through, no scratches, no issues. So I definitely trust the Caudabe Sheath as well as the Synthesis, which we'll talk about here in a second, for drop protection. Like I said, very ultra thin case. The Synthesis is a little bit more flexible, but when you talk about kind of the fit on the phone, your phone has a nice tight fit. There's not a lot of movement on the edges here. I mean, it will peel back if you pull it hard enough. Obviously, you can take the case on and off, but it's not like a traditional silicone case where it's loose fitting. This is a very tight fitting case. No issues, no worries about this case coming off of your phone. A couple of things about this is it is a very thin and minimal case. I would say the only cases that you're going to find that are thinner than the Caudabe Sheath are going to be things like you know, later case, or those, you know, really thin carbon fiber cases that really don't give you any drop protection at all. So this is about as thin as you can get with still having a serious level of drop protection being provided. The other thing about the sheath is really the texture. So all around, so let's take a look at this, the back and then the sides, you get a very aggressive texture pattern, and that's going to really help you with grip. As you're holding the phone, you're going to be less likely to drop your phone because of that added texture around the sides and the edges. You can also see, if I look through there with the power button, is they've cut away a little bit of the material around each of the buttons. And what that does is it makes the buttons extremely clickable. So you get a lot of freedom of movement on those buttons. So no issues with, you know, buttons that are hard to click on or anything like that. So you get a nice little visual element here. Otherwise, it's a pretty simple case, pretty sleek. But this case would fit great in an office environment. You get a little detail here at the top. Very small logo hit on the bottom, just a little Caudabe bump, nothing on the sides. You know, so really it's a minimal, nice, thin, and minimal case. Around the front, you do get a lip. Let's see if I can show that to you. Now I'm using a screen protector, which I most definitely recommend, but even with that screen protector, so if you look down here, you can see that the lip still rises above it just a little bit. Now, if you're not rocking a screen protector, you're gonna have much more of a lip coming around the front, but in this case, it's a little bit less of a lip because of that screen protector, but I definitely recommend you use a screen protector. I'll leave a link to my favorite down below. Also, I'll leave a link to a video on how to apply screen protectors if you want to check that out. But put the Caudabe sheath on your phone, add a screen protector to it, and you are set and good to go in terms of protecting your phone. Let's look at the bottom here. Precise cutouts for your speaker grills and your power port. And then if you look around the back, you do get a nice raised edge above your camera lenses. So it's definitely going to protect your cameras if you're going to set this down on its back, or if you're setting it down on its front, you're going to protect both that screen as well as those camera lenses just fine. All right, so just a couple more looks. Here's the case just from the back side of things. And if I turn it around, this is what it looks like from the front. So you can see a nice, thin, minimal case. I also really like this color. So this color is kind of, I mean, it's eucalyptus, so it's kind of a faded green color. It just looks really nice, especially with the titanium colored iPhone. Those two colors just go together really well. It has a really nice, sleek look to it. There's the top. And one more time on the bottom. So that is the sheath. Again, super thin case, ultra light, but you're getting that drop protection up to 6.6 feet. And again, I've dropped my phone in this case multiple times, not this one specifically, but in sheath cases over the years. They've always survived. I've never had an issue related to drop protection. So I can definitely recommend the Caudabe sheath. But if you do want a little bit more drop protection, you can check out the Caudabe Synthesis. So this is the beefier of the two cases here. You still get the shock light polymer around the edges of the case, which give you that extra grip. But then on the back, you get a hard shell plastic back, which is going to give you additional drop protection. And so the other thing is for grip, if you notice, you get this dot matrix pattern along the edges. And so that's, you know, let's see if I can show you how raised those bumps are. Those bumps are pretty raised. You can kind of see right here. I mean, it's a pretty aggressive pattern. So when you're holding the phone around the edges, or you're just kind of maybe holding it like this, it gives you something to grab on, and you're just not gonna drop that out of your hand, which is really nice. Again, for the buttons, they've cut away some of the material so you can see the metal of the phone showing through. That just makes the buttons extremely clicky. Here's the power button. Then around the bottom, precise cutouts for your speaker grills and your power ports. The other thing I like about this case, if you notice here on the corners of the back, they're raised very slightly. So if you look right over here, you can see kind of how it's raised. And all that does is it's actually going to help prevent scratches from the back of your case. It also kind of helps it to lay a little bit flat. Now you get a little bit of shaking on this corner, but I mean, as I tap around the phone, it's going to help it to lay fairly flat for you. But yeah, it'll raise that back so you're kind of protecting the back hard shell of the case. I do like the camera cutout, kind of the styling they have around this section. You do get a nice deep camera lip, which is going to protect your camera lenses. And then around the front, you're gonna get a little bit more of a lip around the front as well. So it comes up a little bit more above that screen protector than on the sheath. And while this is, I said earlier, this is kind of the beefier of the two cases, this is still in its own right a fairly thin case. This is not bulky in any way. I would put this on par with kind of your traditional Apple silicone case, your traditional Apple leather case in terms of the amount of bulk that you're adding to your phone. So this is in no way a bulky phone case at all. But if you want some added protection, then I would definitely encourage you to check out the Synthesis. And again, you get a slight bump of branding on the back, but otherwise there's no branding around the case. So here is the Synthesis from the front. And I like how they have this little design hit here on the bottom for the power port. Just adds a little bit of protection down here on the bottom edge of the case. So if you're pulling on that a lot, or if you're plugging in and out, that kind of stiffens that area so that it lasts a little bit longer for you. And then here is the back of the case. And then again, that dot matrix pattern along the side and the buttons. So to have them side by side here, so you've got the Synthesis. And while there isn't as much aggressive texturing on the Synthesis, if I pull this up, you still get textured pattern all around the back as well as all around the sides of the phone. So this is not a slick or slippery phone case by any means. It is still textured all around the phone. So love these are my top most recommended phone cases. If somebody's asking me what should I put on my phone to provide great drop protection, but also for minimal style, for just a sleek design aesthetic, then I'm definitely gonna recommend the Caudabe Sheath and the Caudabe Synthesis. And I love the new colorways they're coming out with. This Eucalyptus looks great on these phones. So if this is something you're interested in, I'll leave a link down below to where you can go to their website and pick one of these cases up. Thanks for watching. Thanks for checking this video out. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.